There was a man named Ryoma Sakamoto. He was a Ronin from the Tosa domain and had allied himself with the Satsuma and Choshu domains as well. I'm trying to remember if Shin shows up. I think it's mostly just Harada and, in a way, I mean, Shin is here talking about it, but I think we should just skip to going to rescue Heisuke, because we have done this scene quite a few times. I'm really curious to know how the scene will change when we get to Sakamoto's route. Because he can't die, right? I've kind of put a nail in the coffin of our budding romance. Right. Planning a murder. And the bean's back. Gotta go save Heisuke. Okay, so I know I need to help. Still, I wanted to do what I could. It might be my last chance to see Heisuke. Please, let me go. I won't get in the way.
This isn't like anything you've done before. You understand that, right? We're killing someone who used to be one of us. Much as we don't want to, we might even have to kill Heisuke.
I know. It's not something to be taken lightly. I knew that the Shinsengumi had carried out these sorts of black operations before. There was no way I could have stayed with them as long as I had and not known, but I couldn't just let them shoulder all the responsibility. I was done looking away until the deed was done. No more. Perhaps it's presumptuous of me to say so, but I consider myself a member of the Shinsengumi. And because we're going through this, I want to help everybody.
Then you're determined to do this, I see.
His face had lost its usual warmth. It wasn't anger or cruelty that it showed now, but the gravity of a general addressing his men.
Tell me then, how do you intend to help?
I had already decided I would. Okay, so I want to double check, because convince Heisuke, I know Shin's there, but I don't think there's an option to get affection with him, so... where's the still wanted to help? Yeah, still wanted to help. Oh, okay. I'll do anything is the next option. Okay, well we haven't done this before. I'll do anything.
I am unsure of what I can ask of you, though.
Okay. What did you end up asking me? That day, Kondo asked me to visit Dr. Matsumoto. Kondo had told me that I could return at whatever hour I wanted, so I took my time getting there, but I had a suspicion that this was their method of watching out for me to avoid my involvement with the assassination, if at all possible. The person who I had accompany me was... Oh, hi, Yamazaki. I apologize, Yamazaki. I'm sorry that you have to come with me to the doctor's shop.
Please, do not worry. I understand why the chief asked this of me.
No, it's not about that. I just think that if you weren't here, you'd be off doing something way more important.
Pay no mind to things like that. Their missions should be going well, regardless of whether I am with them or not.
I see. Good old Yamazaki. When Yamazaki and I returned to the compounds, we heard many different voices chatting inside. I wonder what's going on.
It seems like everyone has returned.
Inside, there was a large commotion going on, and then we heard a familiar voice call out to us.
Chizuru! Yamazaki! Is anyone around?
I'll be right there! The tone of Nagakora's voice was alarmed, and it gave me a bad feeling. Oh, is this post Heisuke getting injured? That's interesting. We haven't seen this side of things. As I stepped into the dojo, which seemed to be the heart of the commotion, I was dumbfounded. It is. Oh, wow. Heisuke! Heisuke was sprawled along the floor, covered in his own blood. Even Yamazaki's like, what?
What happened, Nagakora? They got to him. Just take a look at Heisuke now. His wounds are too severe. There's nothing I can do here. He needs to see Dr. Matsumoto immediately.
Time is not a luxury we can afford right now. Carry Toto to the back of the compounds.
Wait, what do you mean the back? If the doctor is gonna treat him, it should be right here.
Follow with what I am saying. Toto will be dead before we bring him to Dr. Matsumoto's. Is this what you want, Nagakura?
Of course not! But what are you gonna do to him in the back?
I, too, have no intention of letting him die.
Sanan, don't tell me you're gonna make him drink the water of life.
That decision is not mine to make. I am going to leave it for Toto to decide.
Oh, wow. Shin's going for him.
Fuck that! What are you, a demon?
By this point, Nagakura was screaming furiously at Sanan, going so far as to point his sword at him.
I am no demon, but I am a fury. If you aim to kill me, be sure to go for my heart or behead me.
You guys! Now is not the time for this. Toto will die at this rate. I know that!
Then, I am going to be the one to make the final call. Is that clear?
Nagakura sheathed his sword, as if silently resigning to Sanan's suggestion.
Damn it!
Nagakura left us with this last outburst and he stormed off. Poor Shin. I was thinking, I don't think Heisuke's actually lucid enough to make this choice. I could remain here, but I have to go after my boo. I couldn't just leave Nagakura alone after that, so I ran after him. Nagakura had retreated into the darkness of the common room. He stood alone in the middle of the vast empty space, sitting and burying his face in his hands. He was trembling from feeling helpless and angry, so I slowly approached him from behind. Nagakura. Aw, poor guy.
I knew in my heart that I needed Heisuke to pull through. So, I couldn't stop Sanan. Should I have let Heisuke die as a hero? Or let him live on as a fury? I don't know.
Nagakura was almost shouting at himself from frustration, but they were the same sentiments that I was feeling. I feel the same way too, Nagakura. I wanted him to live, but I didn't want him to use the serum. I couldn't help but feel the same. So I know where you're coming from. Nagakura slowly picked himself up and he sighed heavily. Just because I ran after you. He was able to force a smile, and he looked into my eyes.
Thanks, Chizuru. I feel a little better hearing you say all that.
Then he gave another sigh, knowing that anything we could say could still be presumptuous. There's nothing more we could do. But there was so much to worry about. What's going to happen to Heisuke?
Well, guess it's kinda up to him.
That night, all Nagakura and I could do was to pray for him to recover. Aw. You were there for each other. It's so nice. The attack on the Watch, as well as the assassination of Ito, later became known collectively as the Aberono Koji incident. An unexpected turn from both the demons and the Satsuma, from their trap lane, resulted in a number of casualties for the Shinsengumi and the Watch, including Heisuke's fatal wound. In order for Heisuke to live, he had no choice but to drink the water of life. While this was all going on, Chikage Kazuma took the time to strike at the heart of our compounds. The serum, brought into the Shinsengumi by my father, was now slowly eating all of them away. My heart began sinking from the weight of all this. I can hear Excuse me. I can hear my hubby leaf blowing outside. I don't know if the mic's picking it up, but if it is, and you hear like a faint buzzing, that's probably him you're hearing. I'll have to check in the recording afterwards. December 1867. Scarcely a month had passed since Aberono Koji. Saito and Heisuke had returned, but the Shinsengumi was hardly back to normal. A dark, tense atmosphere pervaded the compound. Many men had lost their lives in Kazuma's attacks. Even more had been injured during the attack at Aberono Koji. Among them was Heisuke. Several of the rank-and-file soldiers had seen him mortally wounded. He had looked as if he would not survive. For that reason, Heisuke was declared officially dead and made a member of the Fury Corps. Saito hadn't been wounded, but many among the common soldiers began to call him a coward. To them, he had left the Shinsengumi to join Ito, then betrayed his new master when he sensed a change in fortunes. I saw no reason why he shouldn't set them straight and say that he had never truly left the Shinsengumi, but he claimed he would rather stay silent than tarnish the honor of the commander and the chief who had ordered his actions. As such, it was decided that Saito would leave the compound until tempers had been allowed to cool. He was sent to stay at Tenma in order to protect Kyotaro Miura, an official of the Kishu domain. The night of the battle at Aberono Koji was a turning point for the Shinsengumi. For the men who didn't know the details, it was simply a battle against their former comrades, the guardians of the Imperial Tomb. Those better informed knew the situation with the Satsuma and Choshu domains had changed, and Ryoma Sakamoto's hit was part of a big plan. Only the heads of the Shinsengumi knew the whole story, the activities of the demons, and Heisuke's transformation into a fury. They were also the only ones who knew that Okita's illness had gotten worse. Such an important battle had stirred up the atmosphere in the compound, and for several days, there were excited men everywhere, shouting and talking. Moments of silence were quite rare. Okay. I wasn't sure if there would be something new in that bit, so I read it, but I think we can skip through Sanan and Toshi. And I think I need to stay in the room and not offer to help, but I'll just double check. Yeah, I have to stay here. Don't know if we're gonna have a confab with Harada still, or if we're gonna chase after Shin this time around because we're closer to Shin. But we'll see. I will stay here. Okay. As I was thinking that, the day had passed and night had fallen.
Hey, here you are, Chizuru. Can I come in?
Harada? Sure, that's fine.
Yeah, sorry for coming unannounced. Damn, am I glad you're here. I'm getting sick of this grumpy old wet blanket. Funny, I was just thinking the same thing.
Is there something wrong?
Oh, we just thought you could keep us company. There's nobody else to talk to.
What do you mean? There are people everywhere.
Sorry, the truth is I just want to let off some steam and I can't talk about this with, well, anyone else. I mean, there aren't many warriors left. The other captains are all busy.
Oh, I see.
I mean, it's all Kondo and Hijikata's fault to begin with. Sure can't talk to them. Oh, here we go again. The Fury Corps is a bad idea. A really bad idea. We need to get rid of it before it really screws us.
So Nagakura had something to get off his chest about the Fury Corps. Now I understood why they couldn't talk about it with anyone. The people who knew about it were the people they blamed, and it was a secret to everyone else.
I mean, it's not like I wanted Heisuke to die or anything, but... Can you really even call that being alive? Just seems cruel to me.
Well, yes, I suppose.
Every man here knows how it works. Sometimes we kill the other guys, sometimes he kills us. When we go out there, we all know we might not come back. But now they won't even let us die. I know how you feel, but I think you're taking it a little far. I really doubt Kondo and Hijikata just leapt into all of this blind. I'm sure they gave it a lot of thought. So what thought is it then? They better not be saying they want to become daimyos and have their own castle or whatever. Well, come on. You knew Kondo's dream was to become a real samurai. What the hell, Sano? Are you telling me you're actually behind this crap? So just because you have this just cause, you could mess with the water of life? Hey, I'm not saying that, am I? Look, I'm just saying that I get where they are coming from. Well, screw you then. I can't do this sober. I'm going to Shimabara.
Nagakura leapt up and stormed out through the door, fuming. He stormed off so briskly that the candle in my room blew out. My room fell dark, and I heard Harada sigh a little. What should I do about Nagakura?
Oh, leave him be. I'm sure he's not going to be dumb enough to bring out the water of life there.
But...
Well, as you can tell, he is a good guy. And because of that, he just can't let go of a lot of stuff.
I think Harada's right. I mean, even seeing Sanan earlier this afternoon, it just feels like the Shinsengumi is slowly changing. Can I ask you one thing?
What is it?
Okay. So we're gonna have our confab with Harada after all. We'll leave Shin to his own devices for once. Like we always do, I guess, but... no chasing after him today. What's happening now? The Shinsengumi, once solid, now wavered. What would happen to them? What would happen to the Fury Corps? Men were forced to watch as their friends became the undead monsters known as Furies. Was it any wonder that they found themselves conflicted, or that tempers began to rise? Several days later, the order was given to begin the imperial restoration. The emperor would be restored to power, and his court would once again rule the nation. The position of shogun would be abolished, and Kyoto's military and judiciary commissioner positions would be eliminated. All that the Shinsengumi had fought for and believed in was falling to pieces. So we're gonna have to be on the move soon. Is this the final chapter? Aww, pinky swear! That is the nicest picture leading up into a chapter 5 that we've ever had. Usually it's the guy dying of fatal wounds. I'm so happy. That is so nice. Okay, but first, or next, whatever. Full bloom, yay! Okay, great. We're doing... everything's turning up wonderfully. Okay, well, that gives me hope for this chapter. Watch it be the saddest one yet. I'm lulled into a false sense of security. December 1867. As the order to begin imperial restoration came, Satsuma and Choshu troops started occupying the city of Kyoto. At the same time, members and affiliates of the Tokugawa shogunate were being removed from the imperial palace, and eventually Kyoto altogether. They, as expected, did not take this lightly. In response, the shogunate's military forces were beginning to march from Edo to Kyoto. As tensions rose from the approaching shogunate armies, the Satsuma and Choshu were preparing their own forces for a hostile confrontation. The situation was growing increasingly frenzied. As the shogunate scrambled to call upon their remaining allies, the Shinsengumi received an order to come to the Fushimi magistrate. Having all of their men and armaments gathered in, the Fushimi magistrate enabled the shogunate to act in the event of an emergency, so off we went. On one such day, during the commotion... Hey! Bad news, guys! The chief's been attacked! Bad news was delivered to the Fushimi magistrate. There had been no witnesses, and the culprit escaped unseen. Their motives could only be guessed.
What the hell? Who the hell could have shot him? Let's go! Anyone who's free, come with me!
Nagakura got a crew of warriors together, and they all headed towards the location where Kondo was shot. Kondo's gunshot wound was on his right shoulder. The bullet pierced clean through him, shattering the bone, which required more treatment than I could have given him at the compounds. I was sweeping up the common room when...
Oh, Yukimura. Are you still awake at this hour?
Oh, Sanon. Did you have any business here? If you're going to use this room, I'll leave.
Oh, I don't mind. Rather, I think it's better that you are here for it.
Huh? His words perplexed me, so I felt a little anxious. Just then, the most prominent Shinsengumi captains began filing into the common room. What were they about to discuss? My anxiety was starting to grow stronger.
Seems like everyone's here.
I don't see Okita.
He doesn't need to hear this. If Soji gets involved, he wouldn't think twice about his safety, and he'll go straight for vengeance for Kondo.
But if that is what he desires, why wouldn't you let him do so? As usual, you're too kind, Hijikata.
So what do you want from us? There's no telling when war will finally erupt, and for us to gather here right now, don't tell me.
It is exactly as you are thinking. I asked you all to gather here today with the intention of giving something to you.
In his hands was an object, wrapped in a fine cloth, that he slowly unwrapped before all of us. As I saw what was inside of his hands, I gasped and clasped my hands over my mouth.
The water of life?
Exactly. As captains of the Shinsengumi, we all took on the risks of researching this serum. As such, it is necessary for us to take responsibility for this experiment. Especially if, like Kondo, any one of you becomes injured or maimed to the point you cannot fight. Or in the worst case, there is a possibility that your life is gravely threatened. I know for certain that this serum will be of use to you.
Sanon, are you trying to experiment on us too now?
I know what you're thinking, but under the current circumstances we cannot afford to lose any more captains.
Screw that! I don't want to depend on that crap just to survive.
Nagakura barked his indignation to Sanon's proposal and he stormed off. Okay. We can skip now. I wanted to see if anything would have changed with Shin. I didn't think so. So we have established that Shin does not have the water of life. So I don't expect him to turn into a fury. We still haven't figured out who attacked the chief. I'll bet you anything it's those bastards from that Satsuma Choshu alliance. Ever since the attack on Kondo, the atmosphere at the Fushimi Magistrate's office had been tense, to say the least. I felt it increase as I stepped into the meeting room, carrying tea for the captains. Here's your tea.
Oh, thanks. Could you just leave it here?
I seemed to have walked in on a serious discussion. All around the room were tense, drawn faces.
So what's your plan? The Satsuma Choshu alliance wants power in the court, but they're also hoping the Emperor grants them all of the shogunate's assets and holdings. There is no other way to look at it. They're trying to start a war. We'd be smart to start preparing for one. You have a point. They've been sucking up to the Emperor, and they come and go at the palace like they own the place. Now, so far as preparing for war... Sanon has been pushing hard to augment the Fury Corps.
A memory of the other day came back to me. Sanon offered the water of life to all the captains, and they accepted it.
I'm against that. This is war, not subduing the odd Ronin. There are going to be enemies and allies everywhere in battle. I don't think we'll be able to control them. They're powerful, but it's too risky. Agreed. Besides, it's inhumane. Then what do you suggest? If you wish to disapprove, you should offer an alternate path. We're working on that. If it was so easy to come up with a solution, you really think we'd be in this mess? What's your take on this, Commander?
Hijikata furrowed his brow and frowned.
Let me think about it. We need to see what the Satsuma and Choshu are going to do, and we have to consider what the shogunate wants.
Kondo's injury had put everyone on edge, especially with the war inching closer day by day. What was going to become of the Shinsengumi, as well as the Fury Corps? Yeah. December 20th, 1867. A specific date. It was decided that Kondo and Okita were to be moved to Osaka, where Dr. Matsumoto was. Kondo had required serious surgery and treatment, while Okita needed to treat his tuberculosis. Considering Okita's strength had diminished greatly, even I could see his disease was worsening. Of all illnesses, it had to be tuberculosis. The departure of these two leaders brought solemnity and sadness to us all. Aw. Out of the friend zone! Achievement unlocked! More like out of the brother-sister zone, good grief. Kyoto was still on high alert. The Shinsengumi remained on standby at the Fushimi Magistrate's office through the year-end celebrations. I'd hoped that tempers would calm and the threat of war would fade away. One night, as the end of the year was approaching, I'd gone outside to the inner yard of the magistrate to find Nagakura standing alone. I guess it wasn't something too out of the ordinary, but occasionally he'd look up at the sky above, sigh for a second, and then repeat the process. It wasn't too much like the Nagakura I'd known. It wasn't like I could pretend I didn't see him, however, so I found myself reaching out. Nagakura, did something happen?
Oh, it's you, Chizuru. Don't sweat it. I was just thinking about stuff.
Nagakura turned to face me, but his face seemed tired and dejected. He was clearly out of it. Normally, he'd have such boundless energy, but I guess everyone is entitled to days like these. Is it about the war?
No, it's not about that. It's kinda like,
It seemed like he had something else on his mind, and I shouldn't force him to talk about something that he didn't want to talk about. So I decided to walk back in after ending our conversation when...
You remember the other day when Sanan passed out the water of life, yeah?
Oh, yes.
I never liked that stuff, and I never ever thought I'd even come close to using it. Like, I've never considered drinking it for cool powers, and I didn't ever think I could need it to save my skin. I just kinda figured that it was something a man shouldn't touch. That's why I didn't accept the serum.
After he expressed these feelings, Nagakura sighed, rubbing his temples with his hands.
That I have no regrets about. But if I have all of these feelings about using it, part of me thinks that I'm projecting these feelings onto Heisuke. Can I accept Heisuke? Can I not? Or is it that I'm not allowing myself to accept him? This is all confusing the hell out of me.
Nagakura confessed his inner thoughts with me. The moral conflict he's articulating was the exact subject that was stressing me out too. Well, that works. I hated the serum, but couldn't deny it saved lives. No matter how much I turned this conundrum over in my head, I couldn't come to an answer. As the daughter of the doctor responsible for bringing the serum to you all, I personally couldn't feel right taking the serum. But I am happy knowing that both Sanan and Heisuke are still alive because of it. So I understand your struggle, Nagakura. But it kinda got me thinking. I have to think of them in separate terms. The serum is the serum, and Heisuke is Heisuke. All I can say for now is, I want everyone to make the right choice for them, one they won't regret later. I thought it was totally in your nature to reject Sanan's offer. So, if that sits well with you, then I think you made the right decision. And as far as Heisuke goes, I think things could still go back to the way they were before. I mean, you've known him for way longer than I have, Nagakura. You should know Heisuke more than me. Although things are a little crazy, when it comes down to it, the two of you could be close again. Nagakura watched me intently as I spoke, and after a moment he looked up with a bright smile.
You're right. The serum's the serum, and Heisuke's Heisuke. You're so right, you know that? How did I miss that, considering he's my friend? It's kinda embarrassing that I need you to tell me that.
He scratched his head with his long fingers as if trying to be coy. Then he looked me in the eye.
Thanks for that. I can't really accept the serum, and I don't want to use it. But Heisuke is my bro. What's wrong with that?
Aw, bros for life.
Soon as the war's over, I'm gonna get a drink with Heisuke.
Unlike the dazed state he'd seemed to be in earlier, Nagakura had returned to his normal self. His enthusiasm was infectious, and it ended up making me feel energetic too. Right.
Well, it's cold. Let's get back in.
You're cold for once? With that said, Nagakura flashed another smile at me and we walked back into the building. His footsteps had a spring in them compared to earlier. I wondered if I really could be some help to him. You already have been, girl. Good grief. I hoped that the weight of the stress in his heart would lessen, even if just a little. I prayed to the moon that shined in the night sky as I joined him on our walk back.